What's up, bozos? It's time for a tier ranking. We're ranking tracks we ain't even driven on. You know, a lot of it's based on, my curiosity. How curious am I to try out these tracks and explore them and ride the walls, grind those rails. You know what it's all about. So let's start out with Mario Bros. Circuit. It's C tier. I'm not really anti this track, actually. There are things I like. I like this shortcut. I like that, you get on this rail over here. For a starter track, for a basic track, I think this is pretty solid. It looks like the rail grinding, at least here and here, could actually be viable. And so there's a reason to, ride the rails. They're not just there for decoration. You got a little wall here to test out stuff. I think this loop is boring. It's kind of like all those turns on N64 Rainbow Road, which, one of the worst tracks. Fuck you. But, then this ending section's kind of sick. You got alternate paths. You got a little shortcut here. I'm not opposed to this. I think that it's a solid starter track. Starview Peak. Controversial? C tier. I don't know. The key problem here, potentially, is that this track may just be overscaled. Like, these turns just take a long time. It just takes a long time to go around the turns. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to be doing in a lot of this space. You're just drifting for a long time. It feels a little empty at parts. It's not all bad. The theme is pretty cool. Maybe there's cool things about it that I just don't know at this moment, and we'll have to explore. But, this is just like wide track that's, slightly curving, and that's most of the track. I don't think it looks that incredible. One of the less exciting Nitro tracks. Now, Skyhigh Sunday, we're going B tier for here. This is solidly in B tier. The original Skyhigh Sunday is a D tier track. They added alt paths. The theming looks immaculate. Looks way better than it ever was. You have stuff like, these off-road patches here and some rails. And of course, that shit at the end that, I pointed out that the Penguin does, and then everybody saw that I was, one of the first to point that out, and then other people made videos about the Penguin, but I made the video about the Penguin first. There's a lot of stuff going on in this track that makes, even though it is an oval, they prevent you from actually going here, which would make it an oval, because you actually have to turn, making people turn on Skyhigh Sunday. That is actually kind of a cool idea. Definitely excited to drive this one. Then we got Wario Shipyard. This is A tier. Let's fucking go. Wario Shipyard. Now, I don't know how to feel entirely about driving on top of water as opposed to going in and out. It gets rid of some cool features of the original, but I think that there are worthwhile trades here. I don't know if driving on the water and tricking off the waves will be boring, but, there's lots of tight turns going on this track. There's a lot of alternate paths and, potential exploration with different strategies that I think we'll see here. I wonder if the waves are on a timer to where, world records are just going to memorize that shit. It doesn't look like the greatest track ever, but, it's got good theming, potentially challenging. We like this. We like this track. Koopa Troopa Beach. This is probably a lie that it's 1 and 2. We were hoping that the track would include, what's over here. That was kind of what was speculated. But I think it's literally this. It is this circle that you are seeing here. This is the entire fucking course. It's basically Baby Park. Now, what I kind of hope they'll do here is make this a 5-lap track. That would be kind of a cool homage to the SNES. I don't think there was a tinier track than this in 8 Deluxe other than Baby Park. And it's all left turns, fuck that shit. You got this cool cave thing going on, but you probably can't go in there, except for free roam. There's a couple off-road shortcuts. Maybe it will be fun in a controlled chaos kind of way. But, for now, it's just not exciting. Who's excited? Faraway Oasis. Now, I'm putting this in B tier. I wish I liked this more. Also, we're only talking about how these tracks play in versus mode, in 3-lap mode, okay? There's fucking animals. It's got fucking zebras and giraffes and elephants. That's insane. The theming's kind of cool, but I think this track's overscaled. That first turn was just a big, long, kind of tedious turn. And here we have kind of a big, long straightaway. What are you going to do there? There's some rails. This upcoming section's pretty sick. There's a lot to do over here on this last, turn or two. But some turns are just too big and overscaled. I don't see where the animals are. Are the animals just around the Faraway Oasis? They're not obstacles on the track? Come on. Let me hop on those animals. And I also think that the added elevation is just okay, we're riding on wood planks that are above the savannah. Why not ride on the terrain? Why not make it a little safari? When you go on a safari, you don't drive on a big wooden plank that just goes over everything. You know what I'm saying? All right, Crown City Night. We're going B tier. This is going to be better than Crown City Day. Crown City Night has this layout. Crown City Day has this layout. I don't know where to find footage of this. I have seen people race through it. I just like that you're going down the narrow alleys. You're exploring some of the grime of the city. There's alt paths going on top of the buildings and on the walls that look like they'll be useful and interesting. While we're at it, let's just do Crown City Day. That's C tier, and that's because the track layout is kind of boring. It's like a figure eight. Driving on top of the solar panels, on top of the city, I guess that's pretty cool. But it looks kind of like it's mostly a baby track. It's not that complicated, and half the track is just going straight, flying around. It looks all right. It doesn't look like the most complex track over here. I think you can probably grind on this billboard, which, maybe that's sick. Maybe that's a feather thing. Always open to liking the tracks more when they come out and seeing what's actually really going on here. We have no idea what kind of strats you're going to be able to pull off. And we got Peach Stadium. So this is going to be the Peach Stadium subway, as we can see here. Like, this is Peach Stadium Terminal. That's going to be one of the Peach Stadiums. The other Peach, we don't even know what this one looks like. This is actually a battle mode course. I think that'll be part of the Peach Stadium terminal. Can't rank this though. Don't know where it's going. So we can only rank Peach Stadium, which is B tier. This looks like a pretty long track with some interesting sections, though overall, it's nothing crazy. It's kind of like Mario Kart Stadium or something, but maybe better. You get that fun little feather shortcut, which, by the way, you can ride on this wall here, so I don't know why people say the only way to get up there is with a feather. You could jump onto this wall and then just drive up to the rail. Like, that is something that you can do. I've seen somebody do that on a different wall, and I've seen computer players driving on this very wall. So put those two together, that's what you can do. This looks perfectly good. It's fine. Toad's Factory. I'm sorry, I'm putting it in B tier, and here's why. It's basically a square with a little kink over here. Unfortunately, the alt paths, taking this top route, which you can see that bird thing do in one of the teasers, that's not going to be faster to take the top. If you can ride on this wall and go around this corner, that will be faster. But I think that a lot of the alternate routes that look really cool in this track are going to end up being kind of obsolete. I think they did a great job with theming here, but there's something about wheeling on this track on Mario Kart Wii that just is iconic, and I don't know if we'll be able to replicate that. I don't know if it'll have the magic that it did. I feel like part of the reason that people are obsessed with this track is because they're supposed to be obsessed with this track, because it's just been an internet thing to be bring back Toad's Factory. It looks fun. I am excited to play Toad's Factory. I have no issues with it. I just don't think it looks exceptional, if I'm being, objective about it. N64 Choco Mountain. This is actually close to A tier for me, but there's something that brings it down. We got mixed thoughts. Let's just start off. The theming is disgusting. This looks like an oil rig. This shit doesn't look delicious. I don't want to eat this. I do not want to put Choco Mountain in my mouth. I don't want to go up to it and just start tearing out the mountain and shoving it in my face. That's what I want to do with Choco Mountain. I want it to look delicious. But these are spewing gunk and oil, and these puddles, ew. The theming update is not great in many ways. I don't know why we have to industrialize this, and if you are, then make it like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory or something. I don't see the need to industrialize some of the tracks, which is what they have done here. I wish that it was just a chocolate mountain. Why is it a football stadium with, they're watching the big game up there the whole time? You got to keep your eyes on the road, though. However, I really like all the actual course design changes here. There's many spots to use a mushroom, which is just sorely lacking in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for this track. So I think that I'll enjoy this version a lot more than previous versions, whereas Choco Mountain in the other games is probably a C tier. It's fine in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It'll probably just be a lot more fun here. This section's pretty cool. Some added elevation. I like that there are more shortcut opportunities and things. I actually think it'll be really fun. So from a course design perspective, I would maybe put it in A tier. And maybe that's good enough because it'll just be fun. But we got to put it in B tier because it doesn't look delicious enough. Mario Circuit, this is C tier. I think the idea is cool of combining all three tracks, and I'm assuming that in versus mode, it'll be 1, 2, 3, and you're done. But the gameplay of people driving through doesn't look that exciting. I enjoy Mario Circuit 3 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Wii, but I feel with this being a 3-lap track that all the turns could just become kind of indiscriminate. It's this endless maze of Mario Circuit. But if you have a 3-lap track and every every lap looks kind of the same, what's the point? Each section of a 3-lap track should ideally feel kind of different. Mumu Meadows. In practice, this may be a fine enough track. I understand that this is a baby track for babies, and it looks like they've made some minor changes that might be fun. I saw one where there's like a truck that's tipped over that you can use as a ramp somewhere, and this patch shortcut at the end looks a little more substantial to use a mushroom on. So I think it'll have its fun. I do think it'll have its fun. I would bump it down a tier only because I don't think we needed it. We've had it in the past couple games, like get this away from me or make a new Mumu thing. Make a new one. Make a new Mumu thing. Why does it have to? People are too obsessed with retro tracks. Y'all did this by fanning out over all the retro tracks and being like, oh, what tracks to be included? Get excited about the new tracks, you know? At least I am glad that the Nitro tracks are dominant here. And I like that, there's a barn over here. You can't go in it when you're driving. I was thinking that, Mumu Meadows, from an aerial point of view, it looks like it could lend itself to be a track that switches a couple of routes on certain laps and you can drive through the barn, but I think you can only get through that barn if you're playing battle mode, boy. Why put a barn there if I can't go through it in versus races? That's kind of a shame. If it, reverts course and goes into the barn on lap 3, instantly bumping this up to C tier. Let's see, Dino Jungle, S tier. Let's go. The retro course that I'm most excited about. I'm a fan of Dino Jungle. What can I say? It's great in Mario Kart 7. It's great in Mario Kart Double Dash. And they have even more dinos getting in the way. Every change that they made to this track looks awesome. The theming, it is industrialized, which I have mixed feelings on, but it's kind of cool, I guess. I like it here better than in Choco Mountain. This dinosaur coming out of this hole, like, holy shit, guys. Dino Jungle is just a fun track. Like, it's got good shortcuts. It's challenging, and it looks great in this game, and we're excited to see it back. And I just can't wait to play this. I have so much nostalgia for Dino Jungle. Peach Beach. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. We don't know if you're driving the normal Peach Beach course or the Peach's Castle, which actually does seem to be a real thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you best check out my last video. But this is Peach Beach. This is Mario driving around. Like, it's obviously a course and not just another path in Knockout Tour, it seems to me. This is Peach Beach, somehow. On the right is Peach's Castle. On the left is Peach Beach. Now, what I think maybe what they're doing is they're doing 3 laps. One up here, one over here, and then, I don't know, one on, or maybe it's 4 laps, who knows? So you do 2 beach. That'd be kind of, 2 beach. Everybody gets a little, but normal Peach Beach, wouldn't be that excited about it. Really wouldn't be. Like, what is the point of Peach Beach if you're going on top of the water? Like, the whole point is that the water on some laps means you have to go around or use a mushroom, and on some laps it means you can go right through there. And I don't know, you're just going straight through this section. Looks kind of boring. I mean, this ramp, like this section on this left path here that you'd take looks more boring. The island looks less cool. I don't see why this would be fun in the new game. But if it really is this whole new thing, or it's a little bit of both, keep in mind, we haven't seen anybody play 3 laps of a track. So if there are tracks that change paths, we do not know that yet. If this is Peach Beach, then it could be B tier or A tier. If this is Peach Beach, it's D tier. I'm sorry. Because I'm pretty confident that Peach Beach will be a little more than meets the eye, I'm going to put it in B tier, but it could, depending on what it really is, like, this could be sick. Rainbow Road, we're not ranking that. We haven't seen anybody play that. Same with Peach Stadium 2. We haven't seen anyone play it. Salty Speedway, S tier. Let's fucking go. We all saw what Birdo did in the Direct, okay? That was sick. This course is something special, I think. You got a lot of alt paths everywhere. I mean, you can go up on top of this one, as you can see. There's some coins up there and shit. You can see it in some footage somewhere. Even this section, even not in the water, looks cool and looks fun. It looks like there's a lot to do, a lot of alternate paths on this track. Automatic bonus points anytime we're doing alt paths. And there's a ton here. I mean, maybe this will become obsolete and the fastest way is to just drive through the water, and it's kind of lame, but look, this is how excited I am for the tracks. And this one looks super sick. The theme is great. We love Venice. We're excited for the new tracks. We're most excited for the new tracks. Great Question Block Ruins. S tier track. It's like Sky Garden meets Thwomp Ruins. The theming is incredible. The question mark block is long overdue for a course of its own. There are some really interesting looking shortcuts. This rail is super tight. Like, we haven't even talked about this tight ass rail. You have a path up here that you can take. Probably not faster than this, but you got a lot of alt paths here as well. And, it looks pretty tricky. It looks like a challenging course, okay? I'm very curious what, the optimal strategy the world records will end up doing on this course. It just looks like great, good fun, okay? It looks like great, good fun. Offering the best of Mario Kart World. Bones Burnout. Look at this S-tier streak that we're on right now. This is another S-tier course. Once again, the new routes on this track is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Everywhere that you pause in this video, you will see like 3 interweaving tracks going on. And that's not even to count potentially riding a wall or whatever else it may be, or some shortcuts that we can't even see right now. But boy, this track's going to be super interesting to explore and find out what's faster, and it looks like it's got the right amount of challenge to it. Oh God, I watched this and I'm coming. I'm just absolutely coming watching all this right now. So much going on here. So much going on in this track. We love it. We love Bones Burnout, S tier. Boo Cinema, we're putting that in A. I mean, the theming is immaculate. You're riding on film reels. You're going into old movies. That's crazy. That's what we love. I mean, you can ride on the film reels. I assume that you can wall ride up there. I proved this in another video with this ramp at the end. You can totally wall ride up there. My only criticism here would just be that this turn and the next turn are like the same exact thing, including, riding on the wall. Actually, This reel is spinning, isn't it? So maybe it's actually rotating at a speed that's different from the track. I just noticed that. That's kind of cool. But other than that, got nothing bad to say here. Theming is absolutely sick. Boo Cinema, FTW, Acorn Heights, all the good tracks stacked up into one. S tier. It's like Maple Treeway and Wild Wild Woods. They could have called this Leaf Tree, and it would have been quite a fitting title. I'm obsessed with the number of alternate pathways. I think Mario Kart World's trying to get away with some of these straightaways by providing a lot of things to do. You're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater over here, and I think this section right here is a perfect example of, Mario Kart World giving you that freedom that to explore and try different things on the map. You got a big shortcut here on the left. No one's talked about that yet. That's a big shortcut. Giant acorns going down here. Like there's no fat on this track. It's tight. It's, wonderfully themed. Like, we love it. We love Acorn Heights. Whistletop Summit. This is A. Actually, let's see if this is S tier. This kind of has everything you want in a Mario Kart course as well. You have double twisting paths throughout the track. The theme is awesome. It's got like a freaking Thunder Mountain Railroad theme, which is one of the best rides at Disney. We all know that. You can grind on the rails. The whole course, that's kind of cool. Can you jump over that gap in the middle with the feather? We'll have to, that's what we got to wait and get our hands on here. It's like a mushroom cup track, so I feel like, it's not the hardest, but these S-weaving paths, super cool. I mean, what you can also do is grind on this rail, jump off onto this billboard, charge up a boost, and then come off of it. I mean, given the fact that anything you do is kind of just mostly going straight, I'm not sure that there will be a path that's so much more optimal than the other ones. But, this, again, it's like a big playground at the end of this map. I feel like if this was in Mario Kart 8, it would be S tier, but I guess we just have really high standards for Mario Kart World, and I'll just say that it's A tier, high A tier. Dandelion Depths. So this is B tier. Initially, I was like, oh, that's an A tier track, but I took a closer look at it, and I do think that this one's a little overscaled in parts. Like, this section, kind of straight, and then you just have like this big, long, perhaps tedious turn. Yeah, it's all right. That's all right. But then, you get to the all franche, the meat and bones of the track, the meat and bones, which is truly the Dandelion Depths. Super cool theming. Again, these turns are just like, they're like a little long, like, okay, the theming is cool. We're looking at cool stuff. It's like we're in Avatar. This cave is like absolutely sick and massive. But what do you do in it? I guess you can go up there somehow, and I would like to know how. Oh, I guess there's that top path that would put you on a glider ramp. So I guess there's a couple alternate paths here, but for the most part, you're riding on the water and you're tricking off of what you're supposed to trick off of. Like, that doesn't have that playground quality of Leaf Treetop or Whistletop Summit. It looks like a perfectly good track, though. Who knows how it will play? We don't have much footage of Cheep Falls, We only have it from the Knockout Tour, and the theming looks amazing. This is again from Knockout Tour, because in the real course, you go around like this. It looks awesome. Like, some of the footage that we've seen looks absolutely sick. You know, you're going to be able to ride on these little wires that are going across. The layout of the track actually looks something like this. You may not know what you're looking at, but I've looked at it long enough where I know what I'm looking at. You know, you're riding down the river. I like this a lot. This might be S tier. I just haven't seen enough footage to determine this. Where it goes is A tier. Bowser's Castle, we're going A tier here. Now, some may think this is S tier. I'll tell you why I don't think it's S tier yet. I love this, you know, coming into the course over here. You know, something that I noticed too is that you can ride on these rails and you can go on top of the castle and around. The castle's kind of fucking tiny though. Oh, I guess it's the control room, not really the castle. My bad. This section's great. I love how tight it is. I love that it's just one little section, but, you know, it stands out. The rest of it, like, I'm kind of confused on the idea behind the theming. Like, it's a red carpet, kind of like Mario Kart 8, gravity, like bending road type of thing going on around the castle. I guess what I'm getting at here is the Mario Kart Bowser's Castle tracks kind of started out as you're going to drive through Bowser's Castle, you're going to go through the hallways, you're going to go in the courtyard a little bit. They had to up the ante in Mario Kart 8, which has like this weird lava room with the wiggly road. And now we're at a point where I'm like, are we too far from, like, you know, just a Bowser's Castle? Like, I don't know, like, what this is. It's not like I'm racing on a thing that exists. It's like I'm racing on a thing that exists so that I can race on it. I mean, it looks super epic, but I don't know if that's what I necessarily need. I mean, if that's, you know, what they're going for is that it's trying to be super epic. They've achieved it. Can you cut through this open gate over here and go down there? What does the lava do to you? Does it make you lose coins, or does it actually like kill you and make Lakitu come rescue you? I don't know. I think it'll be really fun. I think it looks pretty great. One of the best tracks, but it's so overstimulating. And does it have to be? Seems like a lot of people are into it, but, you know, again, it's like kind of industrialized or whatever. You know, there's something about like a classic, you know, just driving through Bowser's Castle that I think maybe, are we missing that here? Are we missing that? But at the end of the day, the gameplay looks fun. DK Spaceport. This could be A tier. But I'm going to put it in B tier for now. You know, some will criticize it for the straightaways, but it's so obviously the point here. This looks way fucking better than Excite Bike Arena. I mean, I think the whole thing about Mario Kart World is that it's not just ramps and tricking. It's wall riding and grinding and, you know, choosing what direction you hop off the grind rails. There could be a lot of tech to that. And this track is a great way to showcase that tech. All you can do in Excite Bike Arena is trek. I mean, I guess, you know, if you're super fucking competitive, there's more than that. But for most people, that's what it is. I like that it's a 5 or something, more than 3 lap track. You're on a little adventure. It's got a cool homage to Donkey Kong, obviously. I mean, it's pretty sick. Like, maybe maybe this is A tier. But I guess I wonder, you know, how it'll feel going straight so much. Actually, it's such a unique track that I'm gonna bump this up to A tier. Desert Hills. Ah, sorry, buddy. You're in D tier. The only footage we have of this one is going backwards through the course. And by the way, you know, some of these courses you are going backwards in knockout mode will be sick, and what I don't think is going to happen, because some tracks just don't seem built for it, but what would be sick is if we had backwards mode instead of mirror mode. Am I right, folks? Okay, it's Desert Hills, like, yeah, the theming's whatever, it's a desert course. God, we should have gotten Dry Ruins from Wii. Oh my God, we should have gotten that. What the fuck? Fuck that shit. Man, Dry Ruins would have been so cool. It's like the best dry course. Desert Hills is like one of the most mid. Like, nobody asked for this. It's a basic track. We don't need it. I'm not that excited. It might be fine to play, but it's not that exciting, so we got to put it in D tier. Shy Guy Bazaar, I like it. A perfect track to bring back. And let me show you what's something sick about this track that I don't think that people are talking about. First of all, if you hop up here and go on the rail, do you like get onto this grass part over there? I mean, there's just a lot of elevation here, and there's a rail like up there, and, you know, this is one of those playground sections, I guess you can call it. Here it comes right here. This item box, holy shit, there's a fucking sick ass shortcut. So if you get over here, which we can see that you can get over there, you can take this rail and go over here. And now if you look at how the cow goes, this cuts off like a lot. if you can just drive over that roof, it cuts off quite a lot. That's a pretty cool new shortcut. I'm just curious what you can do on this course, which again is kind of the basis for these placements. How excited am I about exploring these tracks? And I'm pretty excited about this one. There was some footage of someone going nuts, bouncing off of these light posts, going nuts, getting crazy air. Probably completely pointless, but cool. Look at the elephants. Look at the elephants. A-tier track. More elephants than Faraway Oasis. What the fuck? Wario Stadium. We'll put it in B for now, but this is maybe A-tier. Some people are like, oh, they cut the track. Like, you seriously wanted to fucking race on all that? Like, no, you didn't. Wario Stadium N64 takes way too fucking long. That entire game, Mario Kart 64, like, is mid. Fuck you. It's mid. So this track, I think, they brought it back. They did a lot with it. It looks great. They made this track work in the ways that I want a Mario Kart World track to work. Lots of opportunities for wall riding and cutting off corners. And, apparently, like, the entire course is a big rail on each side. A lot of jumps, it really makes use of that, like, stadium. You're doing tricks. It's like you're a monster truck or something. Cool little maybe shortcut, but probably not a shortcut up there. Sick ramp at the end. Actually, there's nothing wrong with this track. We're going to have to put it in A tier, guys. Sorry. DS Airship Fortress. I think this is A, but I'm kind of between A and B. I have the same feelings about it as I do Toad's Factory, which is there's nothing wrong with it. It looks like a very cool remake. I mean, the theming is immaculate. I can see why it's a fan favorite, but I think people got a little crazy because they were chanting for it to come back, and they just internalized that chant, and they didn't really know what they were doing. And now we're pretending like this is the greatest course of all time when, it's a good course. I will say this top section does look like it'll make use of the rails, because going around here, if you can take that rail all around that corner, that's going to be faster. That's going to be faster for you. You go on top, then you make a turn, you go under. Like, the only thing that's under here is just these two things. And then you come around and you do a spiral. Like, it doesn't get my rocks off. As far as a faithful recreation and, making the theming look incredible, it's probably A tier, but I'm putting it in B tier because I feel like the actual track, perfectly fine. DK Pass, this is going to piss people the fuck off. I don't know why people are hating on this track. And the fact that I put it above Toad's Factory and Airship Fortress, like, Wow, are you pissed off at me? Wow, are you angry at me? You're just going to have to stay mad. Here's what I like. First of all, look at the layout of this track. It's wiggly and wobbly. It goes all over the place. It's actually kind of challenging. It's got some tight turns, which, again, some of the tracks in this game look overscaled, and this does not have that problem. Observe something that I've observed. On the left here, this big wall has coins on the top of it. That means that you can ride it and, like, get up there, and then who knows, maybe take a shortcut, cut off that turn on the other side. See, these are the things that make me excited to play this track. The possibility of such cool shit. They've opened up a lot of the turns, kind of like on Choco Mountain, to be, mushroomable. This section looks cool. I think this is a great snow track. I know some people are probably like, oh, I want a DK Summit. Sure, but, you just had that. This is cool. We like this. I think this is a fun course in DS, and you can get away from me. And that's it. This is our tier list. We can't rank Rainbow. I expect Rainbow Road's going to be at least A tier, guys. And they have to make up for the fact that 8th Rainbow Road was good, not amazing, not iconic. I think they got to give us something good. I would expect that the Peach Stadium subway terminal track is going to be fine. Probably B or C. And will we do a ranking when the game comes out? I think we may. Unless nobody watches this, which is very possible. And yet we still might do it. Pre-ordered the shit out of this game. It's coming to my house. Goodbye.